welcome everyone to your Wake Up Women series. Today we have yet another special person joining us. She's Ishika Garg, and today we're going to hear from the horse's mouth her story on how she woke up to her finances. So get ready to wake yourself up, to actually shake yourself up with regard to your finances. Ishika, if you're around, let me know. I would love to welcome you and get you in. Everybody who's joining in, please say hi, hello, welcome everyone. Hey Kavya, hi. Welcome. How are you doing? Are you all set for yet another story? Hey Ishika, welcome. Bringing you in. Get set. Our guest is arriving anytime soon. So let the momentum get built. Ishika, hi. Hey Ishika, welcome.
Hey Priyanka, hi, can you hear me loud?
Yes, absolutely loud and clear. Thank you so much for showing up, Ishika, and taking out time for us. Inviting
Sure.
you, welcoming you to this red carpet, to your platform. So thank you so much for showing up. Let's begin straight on. Could you tell our viewers who you are, what you do, how old you are, where you live, and more and more? Go ahead.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you for having me here and giving me this platform, to be able to talk to you and be here today on Wake Up Women series. So, hello everyone. My name is Ishika Garg. I am 33 years old. I currently reside in Bangalore. I'm a mom to two beautiful children and I'm a working professional. I work in the IT world. I basically come from the city of Raipur, which is a part of Chhattisgarh. Earlier, this was part of the state called Madhya Pradesh. So, as I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the city, but it's a very humble city, and I come from a very middle class background. Basically, belong to a business family where I lived in a joint family. I grew up in a joint family for most part of my childhood, and my dad was a businessman. He had his own IT consultancy firm, and my grandparents and all, they had dealerships of various vehicle related industries. So like they had dealerships of Yamaha, Rajdoot, etc. But my dad was from the very beginning, he was into a very separate line of business, but he did has had his own consultancy firm. So, for about 10 to 11 years of my age, I was a part of joint family and we stayed all together. And then, as you know it, life has its own lemons and curveballs which it throws at you. So, due to some personal reasons, we had to get separated from the joint family. And so that was a transition for me as well as my parents. And I'm the only child. I don't have any siblings. So it was just three of us who had given a fresh start to our life after that phase of being in a joint family and then transitioning into a nuclear family. So after that, what happened was that my dad had to hunt for a job because due to some reasons he couldn't continue with his business.
Okay.
So there was about a time of few months where he did not have anything, no job, no business. So he was transitioning. But you won't believe me, I did not have a clue about it because from the very beginning my parents have had such humble choices in life that they have had habits of saving for sure, but there was definitely no conversation about money in front of me as a child. So I
Okay.
don't remember them making balance sheets or writing down expenses in a notebook in front of me, but I'm sure they must have had this conversation within themselves in my absence. Because of which this tough period, because now I'm a parent myself, I have two young children and a husband, and I cannot imagine being in that state, like separating from a joint family, not having a job in hand, not having a business to do, and still smiling all the time in front of your kid and not letting your kid have an idea what's going on. So I
Wow.
definitely
How old were
attribute
you, Ishika? Ishika, if I can stop you and ask you how old you were when this was happening?
about 10 years.
Wow. Okay, you were
Yeah.
young. You were
Yes,
very
I
young.
was. Yeah.
Got it. Please go ahead.
Yeah, and so after that, what happened was, so there was this brief period of time where my dad didn't used to go to office because he didn't have one, and I was told that he's on vacation, and I was the happiest person on earth because I got all this time to play with him. So we used to play Monopoly and various other games, and every morning I'll wake up, and the first thing I would ask my dad was, "Are you going to office today?" And I would just wait for him to say no, and I didn't know what's going on because I had zero idea about what was happening. But still, that period went by very smoothly from my perspective. I never thought that we had any deficit or we were in any kind of financial trouble because I don't think we were, because they had enough savings, I believe. And even if we were, they did not let me know about it.
Got it.
So it
Okay.
took them about a year and a half or so, I would say, to get settled and to be in a regular job, I would say, because although I was a kid, but I could still see some irregularities in terms of when he used to go to office and when he did not used to. Because in tier two cities, what happened is there's no concept of weekend. So you have to work Monday to Saturday. And if you are in a business, you have to work even harder because you usually come back by 9:30 and then have dinner at 10:30. That used to be the routine, which was not for about 1.5 to 2 years, I would say. And then life took its course and we became settled. And today he's a self-made man, and I'm so proud of him. And I'm so proud of my mom because
Right.
she was the one who left her career for him, and she was a working woman before she got married to him. And in that time, like I'm talking about 80s, 85 to 86, there was no concept of working women as it is today. So she was asked that, you may have to leave your job. And she's a very well educated woman. She's an MA in economics and she was pursuing her PhD, and she left it halfway. And she was a lecturer in one of the biggest colleges in my city at that time. So had she been in a job all this while, she would have become a dean by now easily.
Right.
But still, she stood like a rock by him, and I could see that, like, they were called the ideal couple at that time, and because maybe the others were aware of the problems they were going through, everybody used to say that, you guys are like rock solid going through this time so easily. How do you manage to cruise by this time? And I used to wonder, like, what's it all about? And I never had a clue, and I was never told. And even
Uh-huh.
today, I don't know the nitty-gritties of it, to be honest with you. Even when I try to, talk about those things with my parents, they're like, "Oh yeah, bygones are bygones, let's not talk about it. Whatever happened is in the past." So
Right.
that's how my childhood was.
So coming back to this incident, I'm sure, when you saw your parents being such rock solid supports for each other, and then they really tied over this time so well, they had finances, right? Or they managed somehow, whatever it was. How did it shape you up? Because you were just a 10-year-old, Ishika. So as you grew up, were you a saver? How was it?
Yeah, so I did used to save small amounts of money. There was no concept of pocket money for me because, like, my parents did not want to introduce money in my life yet. But what I used to get was, and during festivals, when in our house, when you touch the feet of elders, they'll hand over 100, 200 rupees to you. So that used to be my money. I mean, there was a joke which used to go around in the house that whenever these festivals used to come, I used to collect the money and I'll get gifts for my parents. And they will never take it. They still don't take accept. They still don't accept gifts from me, because they are like, you are a child. We don't take gifts from you. But there was a time when I used to collect that money in my piggy bank, and I used to go to shops with my mother, and I'll say, Mom, I'll buy this with my money. I'll buy that with my money. And one day my mom was like, the way you talk about your money is as if you are going to buy the whole world with your money.
Got
But
it.
that did turn out to be very helpful because the habit of saving, which that small amount of money which I used to get inculcated into me, and it helped me actually get to a point where I was able to afford a laptop for myself right after I got like passed out from my college. Although
Got it.
it was not a complete amount, my dad did contribute into it for a little bit of I would say 1/3 of it was his contribution and 2/3 was mine. But I'm still proud to say that I did manage to save without being on a job and just being a student. I had zero means of income, but still I did manage to do it. So
Wow.
yeah.
You're actually, really speaking for all those homemakers and students who feel that, hey, where do I save from and what do I do? I can't do much, but you're actually a demonstration, Ishika, of what is possible with those little amounts which come in once in a while. And you
Exactly.
can just do so much with just those cash gifts or, whatever small money that comes into your life once in a while. So, well, kudos to you. So the laptop came, and then what?
Yeah, so I have kind of fast forwarded my life from right the point where we separated from a joint family to the point where I now graduated, because all that journey was quite smooth. I never felt there was a problem. There was always enough. I never felt there was any deficit. One thing which I wanted to highlight before I jump on to the post graduation period is that my parents made me really humble. You know, they taught me in Hindi. There's a saying कि पैर उतने ही फैलाओ जितनी चादर है. So I still am, and I used to be a very ambitious person in childhood as well. I used to tell them that, one day we'll have this, we'll have that, we'll have such house, we'll have such car. And till today, my parents use an Alto car, and they're so proud. They so proudly show it to everyone. It's almost 21 years old now with them, and it's in perfect working condition. So they taught me that whatever you do in life, make sure that you don't have to what do you say, compromise with your honor in front of anyone. So don't ever cheat, and don't ever spread your legs beyond your capacity. Like they say, औकात के बाहर मत जाओ. But make sure that you set the bar high for yourself. So yeah, coming back to the period
So,
where
so
I
you're
bought a laptop.
so you're actually really teaching all of us how you can be, all of us can be a combination of ambition and humility. And it is like, yeah,
Absolutely.
so I mean, they just go together. If you are ambitious and you are humble, you're bound to succeed. What else? So, yes,
Exactly.
yeah, point taken about the attitude building. Go ahead. Yes, Ishika.
Right. So after that, I did my graduation. Post that, I moved to Hyderabad. That was my first ever corporate job. And I'm talking about the 2008-2009 period of recession, like the Great Depression. I actually graduated in 2009, but I couldn't, and I had a job by then. I was placed by the campus placement, but unfortunately, my company failed at that time. I was recruited into Mahindra Satyam, which was known as Satyam Computer Services at that time.
Got that.
And it was a big deal. When I got placed, everyone was super happy, but when the downfall happened, everyone was like, now what? And I was really doubtful about my future, but I decided that I did not have to sit at home, because I have to do something to earn money, kind of to repay my parents, although they never accepted money from me. But I did not want to just sit at home and, like cry over the fact that, oh, the one company where I got placed has now failed, and now what do I do? So I joined my own college as a temporary lecturer, as a contract lecturer, because in my college, without an MTech degree, you cannot join as a permanent professor. But I was like, whatever I'm getting for that time, just grab it. And I worked as a contract lecturer for about 9 months, and I was lucky enough that I did get a recall from my company, which was now taken over by Mahindra Group of companies. And we were called for a retest for both the objective test, which you appear, and then all the interviews happened again, and I was selected. And then I moved to Hyderabad. That was such a big moment for me, because parallelly I was trying for an MBA as well, and I did crack KJ Somaiya College of MBA, but I was so desperate to get into a job and earn money that I was like, MBA can wait, you just have to jump on and go for a job. So that's how I joined my first corporate job. And since then, it's been more than 12 years that I'm into this corporate world. I have switched companies now. I no longer work with Mahindra Satyam, but it has taught me a lot. I used to live by myself in a women's hostel, and I used to earn money. Whatever I used to earn, I used to either spend on gifts for my parents or booking tickets on flights back home, because I was a big homesick person back then. every long weekend, you won't believe, even if it was a 3-day weekend, I used to fly back home.
Right.
Clearly, I did not have a life in Hyderabad, clearly.
Got
So that's how I spend my money. Although, like I said, I did not give any money back to my parents, but I did not have to ask any money either. So I was doing good. And as I grew in my career as well, fortunately, there was never a need for me to ask money from anybody, be it my friends or parents. But one thing which I lacked clearly was knowledge about how money is handled. And the reason due to which I never paid attention to it was because I was always told there will always be some male member in your family who will be handling your finances. So in my house, it was my father, and I never saw my father and mother discussing about investments or stocks. They did have a brief, I would like to say accident, because it was not a good experience with them. They lost a lot of money in stock market. That's when they decided that neither I will invest in stock market nor any of my 7 generations are going to invest in stock market, you know. So when I grew up and I did try to, tickle him with the stock market discussion, he was like, stay away. You don't want to get into that business, and just do not even think about it. And when I used to ask him about income tax returns or stuff like that, so he used to say, you're taken care of. You don't have to worry about these things. I'm here to file your IT returns. Your company is doing that as well. So it's all taken care of. You just have to enjoy your life. And so I kept
Wow,
enjoying my life.
that's just so typical, Ishika. Aren't you speaking for lakhs and crores of women in India? I think you're actually
Absolutely.
speaking for all of us, because I think my dad was same too. Why don't you do some